so this practice is designed for you to take in the morning, but don't worry, you can take this practice at any time of the day. This week is week 1, which we're going to be focusing on grounding. So this time with the Hatha practice, we're going to think about pushing into the ground to rise. That concept that we have with the floor. We'll be working through the hips, down to the legs, to the toes, or mainly focusing in on those areas. When you're ready, we'll start ahead. I'm going to start lying on our backs on our mats. So I'll meet you there as I guide you in. As we get settled down, lying on our backs, on our mats, just noticing how you feel today. Physically, mentally, emotionally. And as we start to check in with our breath. Noticing the rise and fall of belly and chest as you breathe in. And as you breathe out. Perhaps on each exhale you can let your body sink into the ground that a little bit more. If you need to wriggle hips or shuffle feet, shoulders, rock the head side to side to feel that contact with the ground, then feel free to do so. As we start to check in with that grounding into your mat, our theme this morning of grounding, and that physical sense of contact with floor, mindful sense of being here now in your body. Maybe notice where your mind might wander off to, and can we guide it back to the breath? Watching that expansion of belly, chest. If you want to, you might place a hand onto the belly and chest. And in your own time, as we make our arrival, start to notice the points of contact with feet and the ground. Wriggle the toes. Perhaps start to notice the arms, and if the hands are on the ground, start to bring the hands onto the ground. Wriggle the fingertips. Gently starting to rock the head side to side, massaging the back of your head onto the floor. And then when you're ready, let's take a full body stretch. And then guide the legs in. Hugging the knees in towards the chest as we gently rock side to side. You might clasp the hands together. You might hold the knees separately. And just start to notice that movement in your body. And starting to just slow that movement down so that you start to settle into this pose, hugging the knees to chest. Noticing how that may feel through your hips, through your back, being gently massaged into the ground as this gentle pressure as we've hugged the knees in. Notice your breath. It's a bit like an upside down child's pose. Notice your breath as you breathe in. Perhaps the breath is restricted now with the knees there. Can we breathe into the side space? We're taking that breath into the chest space. Notice the points of contact where the body is pressed into the ground. Let's take one more breath here. Nice, and from there, let's keep hold of that right shin. So we'll take the hands over to the right side, and then slide that left leg all the way out. Perhaps you might want to gently rock the knee side to side. Perhaps you might want to roll the knee round in a circle, or maybe you want to stay still. But just checking in again with the hips. Breathing here. Nice, no rush. On your next inhale, let's switch over as you glide the left leg in and right leg extends all the way out onto the ground. That's it. And again, just gentle pressure there perhaps, or maybe a rock of the knee side to side. Noticing how this hip may feel. And then when you're ready, let's guide both knees in. Perhaps this time you might lift the forehead towards the knees, head off the ground, maybe not. Depends how that feels for you. And then releasing the head down, let's extend those legs, pointing and flexing the feet. Starting to check in with your legs, noticing how the back of your legs feel, the calves, the ankles feel. Keep soft bending the knees if you like. Nice, and then let's place those feet down mat width. Let's stretch the arms out into a T-shape. Palms facing up. Inhale at the center. Breathing out, let's sway the knees over to the right. Whether the knees go anywhere near the ground or not, up to you. Inhale back through center. Exhale, gently tilt the knees to the left. As you work through that hip movement, through that hip twist, or through the twist of your body, working through the inner thighs, the external rotation of the legs. And if you would like to incorporate your head to move, the next time that the knees turn to the right, you roll the head over to the left. Massaging the head onto the ground. Let's bring some gentle movement into the neck. Nice, and no rush. Taking 2 or 3 more rounds so that you are even on both sides. We'll guide ourselves back through center. Straighten the legs for a good stretch. And then when you're ready, we'll start to rock back and forth. If that doesn't feel so great on your spine, then rock over to the side. But if you are doing that rock back and forth, just noticing that contact with the ground, massaging your back along the floor. Nice. And then when you're ready, joining me in seated, where we're going to take bowed ankles. So soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. Entirely up to you if you want to bring the feet closer in or feet further out. Sitting and rooting those tailbone or your sit bones into the floor. So grounding practices, or grounding practice today is going to be that push to the ground to rise. So think about pressing the base of your spine or your sit bone into the floor, rising up through the spine, shoulders away from the ears. Nice. Inhale to lengthen that push to rise. And then exhale, you might stay here if that's enough of a stretch. Or you might start to fold forward using your elbows to draw the knees out. Still looking for that lift. Inhale, push through that base of your spine, the hips, to rise. And that might be a lift more forwards than up. And then an exhale to fold if that's accessible. And inhale to lengthen that push into the ground to rise. And then exhale again, you might draw the knees out or fold. Let's go for one more breath like that. Nice. And then taking your time, let's bring ourselves up. Let's give those legs a good shake out. And then coming in through to all fours to tabletop, where knees are underneath the hips and hands are underneath the shoulders. Let's spread the fingertips into the floor and tuck the toes under. So as we think about that grounding, we're going to spread all 10 fingertips into the floor. That gentle push of the ground to rise. So we're not sinking here, we're pushing into the ground. Pressing through the toes lightly as you start to stretch out the feet. Inhale, we rock forward. Exhale, we sit back, pressing through the feet, stretching out the toes. Or passing through the hands to stretch through the feet. Inhale to rock forward. Exhale to sit back. And you're going to go at your own pace. Spreading those fingertips into the floor, spreading all 10 toes into the ground. Nice. Let's go for one more there. And then coming forward, we'll release the feet. You might stretch and just give them a point of flex. You might give the feet a good tap on the ground, entirely up to you. Nice. Let's bring the big toes together, sit the hips back. You can choose to bring the knees together, keep them hip width, or perhaps you might want to take them out wide as the mat. We'll take the arms to extend. If that doesn't feel great, do fold the arms and create a little pillow for your forehead. But again, just noticing that contact with the ground, forehead onto the mat or to your forearms, sitting the hips back. Noticing your breath, breathing in not only to the belly and the chest, but to the side and the back space of your body. Noticing how that breath is changing that stretch. Nice. And then on your next inhale, let's start to guide ourselves up, back in through to all fours. Bring the knees to face forward if you've widened them. Walk the hands slightly forward. Spread all 10 fingertips into the floor, tuck the toes, send yourself up into downward dog. As we ground through the hands, thinking again of that push to rise. So if we push through the hands, our hips are rising up high to be the highest point of our body. Feel free to gently move there, waking up your body as you bring one heel down at a time. Really let the head go. Just noticing how it feels to be upside down. Nice. From there, let's start to gently walk those feet towards the hands as we make our way into ragdoll, where the feet are hip width. The knees are bent. You can have the arms to hang heavy. You can fold the arms if you like. You might want to stack the elbows onto the knees if that is quite an intense inversion. Perhaps you may gently shake the head yes and no, or swing the body side to side, noticing that grounding through your feet, that foundation and that support. As you let your upper body hang here. Let's go for one more breath. And then Your next inhale, let's release the arms and slowly roll up. Head comes up last. And when we arrive, our shoulders shrug up. Our shoulders roll down. Feel free to take a couple more of those, noticing how that may feel in your body now as you rise to stand. Nice. And then from there, you can stay where you are. I'm just going to face towards you. So I'm going to tip the head over to the right side. Deep breath in. And then exhale, chin rolls down and round as head now tilts to the other side. Deep breath in. Exhale, chin down and round. Nice, just going to do that within your own pace of breath. Starting to bring movement to the neck, to the shoulders, as you wake your body up. Nice. And taking your time, the next time that the chin rolls down, we're going to stay there. Start to soften as we bend the knees. Sweep the arm forward as we reach the arms forward. Rounding there. Inhale, we're going to sweep open the arms. You open the chest to look up. Exhale to round as you sweep the arms forward. Stretching as far forward or as far forward into a fold as you like. Inhale to open up, the palms facing up, to stretch open. Exhale to round. Nice, and just doing that within your own pace of breath, working through your spine, working through the arms. Nice. And then the next time that you rise up, stretching, and then we'll reach the arms all the way up. Taking hold of your right wrist, reaching over towards the left. Inhale to come back through center, taking hold of your other wrist, your left wrist, and reaching over to the right. And inhale back through center, stretch the arms out as you push the heels of the palms out. And if you like, you might then take a little shuffle. We're coming into mountain pose. So mountain pose at the top edge of your mat. Feet about hip width. Spreading your toes into the mat. And from there, you might want to just gently rock forward and back, finding your center point of gravity. You might rock side to side, placing the weight of one foot and then to the other, that shift of weight. Palms facing forward, shoulders drawn down away from the ears as we arrive in mountain. Cueing now through the toes, spreading all 10 toes into the mat. Feeling that center point of your gravity as equal amount of weight spread across both feet. And try not to lock the knees, thinking about the knees soft, so you really allow that foundation and that weight to be in the legs, so not zipping the legs, but think about the knees soft, pushing into the ground as we rise, that push to rise. As we're strong in our base, the hips are in neutral. As you inhale, we're going to lengthen the spine, that crown of the head reaching up. As we take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, feel free to close the eyes if that feels good for you. As we're in neutral, as we stand strong in mountain, gently pushing into the ground, rising a bit taller. And then as we exhale, the shoulders relaxing, feeling the feet into the ground. Nice. Let's take one more breath here together. Deep breath in. And breathing all the way out. From there, or next exhale that you take, we'll place the hands to the center of the chest. You can open the eyes. And then we're going to step that right foot back to come into warrior one. So think about that foot not being directly behind. You want to step it out a bit so the hips can square forward. You can take that foot back as far back as it feels good for you. As we push through the heels, that knee stacking on top of your ankle, palms together. Again, that pushing into the ground to rise. Deep breath in to lengthen. Exhale, relaxing the shoulders, perhaps sinking the hips to the ground, and that gentle push. And then we inhale to rise. Nice. Let's go for one more breath here. And then inhale, let's sweep the arms up, looking up. Exhale, you have the option to place the hands onto the hips, or you might interlace the hands behind. We're going to start to straighten that front leg. Inhale, lifting the chest. And then exhale, we're going to fold forward into pyramid pose. You might stay here. You might fold further. You might take those arms, if you've interlaced them, to reach up towards the ceiling. Feel free to keep a soft bend in that front knee, but keeping the legs straight. Inhale, let's push through the ground, lifting as we lead that chest forward. Exhale to fold. And just notice the toes, just give them a little wriggle so we're not cutting off circulation to the feet, to the toes. They're not pressing too hard into the ground. Let's go for one more breath there. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, fold. Looking towards that big toe, bending that knee as we inhale, raise the arms up, warrior one. Exhale, palms to the center, tucking the back toes, bend the knees, stepping back forward. Feel free to give it a little shake out. And then we come back into mountain. Mountain pose, deep breath in. Exhale, palms to the center, stepping your left foot back this time. And again, checking in that heel and heel aren't aligned with each other. It might be stepped out slightly so that you can square the hips towards that front edge of your mat. Heel draws down. Really think about pressing through both feet with even weight like we did in mountain. And then we'll start to bend that front knee. That knee stacking right on top of your ankle. Palms together, hips squared forward. Grounding through both feet as we push to rise. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, shoulders away from the ears, pressing into the mat. Really nice. 2 more breaths in. And then on your next inhale, let's sweep the arms up to reach up. Exhale, hand can come onto the hip. Interlace the hand and start to straighten that leg. Inhale, we're going to lift the chest as we look up. Exhale, we'll go into fold. Again, you can choose to just go as far forward as it feels good for you. You might reach as you raise the arm up, or you might have the hands onto the hips. The hips are staying squared forward, so think about drawing that left side of hip forward, right hip back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale to fold. Inhale to lengthen, leading the chest towards that big toe. Exhale, fold, grounding through the feet. Giving the toes a little wriggle. One more breath there. And then we look towards that big toe. Bend the knee. Inhale to sweep back into warrior one. Exhale, palms down through the center, tuck the back toes. We step forward. And feel free to give a little shake. Nice. From there, back into mountain pose as we spread the toes into the mat. Palms facing forward. As we notice the toes again spread into the floor, distributing that weight. And this time you might visualize your feet as little rectangles, pressing through all four corners of those feet. You might then visualize your feet as a step, as a square or rectangle, pushing through that square into the ground. And that inhale to rise, standing tall. And that exhale, shoulders relax. That firming of the feet into the ground, into the earth. Let's take one more breath in. Nice. And then when you're ready, let's inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, let's fold forwards, hands come onto the shins. Inhale, we'll lift the chest. Exhale, we'll fold. Let's go for 2 more breaths like that. Inhale, rise to half lift. Exhale to fold. Last one. Nice. Bending through the knees, we'll bring the hands down to step into downward dog. Spreading through all 10 fingertips, pedaling the feet, bringing one heel down at a time. Perhaps noticing how that may feel different from when we first arrived into downward dog. Nice. And then let's lower those knees down. Inhale to kneeling as you reach the arms up. And then exhale, stretch the arms out. Sit to the side as we come to the center of our mat. From there, you can rock back and forth if that feels good for you. Again, just perhaps noticing that contact with the ground, massaging your back along the floor. Nice. And when you're ready, you'll join me on the mat. Gently rocking the knees side to side. Drawing the knees out. Taking hold of either the shins or the ankles. Breathing there, you might gently rock side to side. Breathing there, you might take hold of the inner arch of the feet and then send the heels up into happy baby pose. Let the shoulders sink into the ground as you let go of the shoulders and the head. Whichever option you're in, noticing that stretch through that lower body. The hips, inner thighs, the groin. And focusing in on that lower half of the body. As we breathe in, as we breathe out. And let's go for 2 more breaths in. Nice. Take your time to gently release whichever option you're in. You might extend the legs up, give them a point of flex. You might hug the knees in, rock side to side. Or you might bring the feet down into windscreen wipers. Like we did earlier in the class. Feet out mat width. Sway the knees side, center to side. And when you're ready, we'll start to set ourselves up for bridge, where the feet are hip width, where the heels draw as close towards the hips as you can bring them. Arms alongside the body, palms face down. Gently rock the head to relax your neck. Again, as you bring that awareness to the grounding that we have in the floor, perhaps again you might visualize your feet as two rectangles as you ground both feet into all four corners. From there, as we ground through the feet, you'll always start to feel that lift through the hips. On your next inhale, start to tuck that tailbone under, lift the hips, peel the spine up off the ground and firm the shoulder blades into the floor. Keep the neck relaxed so the space between the chin and the chest. As you rise up into bridge, grounding that gentle push into the ground to rise. Breathing there. Really nice. Firming through all four corners of the feet. Firming through the shoulder blades. Neck relax, head relax. In your next inhale, let's reach the arms up over the head. The back of the hands come onto the ground. And then on your exhale, as slow as you can, start to ground your spine onto the floor. So lower one vertebrae down to your mat. As slow as you can go. Feeling your back unravel down onto your mat. And when your back has fully landed onto the ground, stay there a moment. And then you might again hug the knees in. Perhaps you may stay still in that pose that we started with, taking a counter pose. Or perhaps you may want to straighten the legs, extend the legs up. From there, we'll start to make our way into our second to last pose. Bound angle as we lie down. Soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. Options have the hands on the belly or out to the side, or you can stretch the arms up over the head if you like, creating a second diamond shape. As we focus in on the hips, so just making sure your arms are relaxed where they are. Noticing if the hips need some support, you might place a cushion or block underneath thighs. As we ground and as we center, holding in reclined bound angle, noticing how that feels in your body. Notice the contact that you have with the floor, the weight of your legs as it draws open into this pose. The sensations through the hips and how that may change as you breathe in and when you breathe out. Where can you let go of that a little bit more, surrendering your body to relax in this pose? And if it doesn't feel that it can relax, perhaps you're past your edge, so you need something to place underneath your thighs. In your own time, in your own pace, your 3 final breaths in. And when you're ready, start to guide the arms in. We can use the hands to guide the legs in. You can feel free to come straight into corpse pose shavasana if you like. You can take movement if you want to take windscreen wipers, if you want to hug the knees in towards the chest. If you want to pop any extra layers on or turn down the lights, feel free to do so. As we come in to our final relaxation, our meditation or longer meditation part of our practice. As the feet guide out mat width, toes to fall out to the side, hands can rest on the belly or maybe a hand onto the belly and chest, entirely up to you. Or you can rest the arms out, palms to face it. Feel free to shuffle feet and legs and shoulders so that you can really elongate and spread across the floor. As you notice the points of contact that you have with ground. In your next exhale, can we start to let go of the legs, sinking the hips down into the mat. Releasing the legs and feet down into the earth. Feeling both legs and both feet completely relax. On your next exhale, allowing the spine to unravel. The shoulders to release. Belly, chest to soften. Shoulder blades melt into the ground as arms relax all the way down to the fingertips. The back of the neck and head relaxing as throat softens. And as we start to relax the head, softening the jaw, the space in between the eyebrows. Noticing any tiny muscles surrounding the eyes and allowing them to dissolve of any tension. Perhaps if you haven't already, you can gently close the eyes. Unraveling the forehead. As we breathe out, we completely, entirely let go. Noticing your breath as you ground yourself to the center to be here now. Breathing into belly, breathing into chest. To arrive into the present. To guide yourself back into your day. With the intention, present and centered as you flow through your day. And you might affirm that in first person, I am present and centered as I flow through my day. In your own time, in your own pace. Start to notice that points of contact with the ground, and you might start to wriggle fingers and wriggle toes. You might then start to gently rock the head side to side as you take a full body stretch across the ground. And go ahead to give yourself a big squeeze and hug. Thanking yourself for dedicating this time to practice. And gently rocking side to side. You might roll over to the side or rocking back and forth to gently guide yourself up to join me seated with the palms at the center of the chest. Finding that comfortable seat, you can keep the eyes closed if you like. As we arrive back into our day, I am centered and I am present as I flow through my day. Let's inhale, circle the arms up over the head, closing our practice. Exhale, hands down through center. Namaste. Good morning. Thank you for joining practice.